All right, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Super excited for all of you to join me today. Y'all, I'm very, very excited for the young lady that I have with me today. I think her business is super dope. And I'm telling you, right, if you want to get employed in 2021, you definitely want to make sure that you're tuned in and you're listening. So I just got connected with this young lady on Clubhouse. Y'all, FYI, if you do not have Clubhouse, you need to get it, right? It's super dope, and you can just connect with so many individuals, right? And so, Miss Jessica, do I have you here with me?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. Hey, sis.
Hey, super happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Now, I gave you a little brief intro, but go ahead, tell us who you are and, what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jessica Williams, and I am the founder and CEO of JMW Career Consulting. I started my consulting firm in 2018 as a side hustle, and I have worked my way to being a full-time career coach and resume finesser.
Yes.
I worked in corporate for about 13 years, and now I'm basically empowering others to snatch a seat at the table or to break the table.
Okay, now, and here's what really intrigued me about you, Jessica, where I was like, okay, yeah, I gotta get her on my podcast. Homegirl doesn't even have a college degree, at all,
No.
but she been in corporate America for 13 plus years. And the reason why I definitely wanted to have her on here is because I'm all about breaking the norm. I'm all about
Yes.
not following the status quo. And the story we've been told. You got to go to school, got to get good grades, you got to go to college. That's the only way that you're going to find a job. But you have proved us wrong, as many others have as well. And so, um, what was the whole motivation behind you starting your consulting firm?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what I noticed is I was really good at creating relationships with other people for my companies. And I was like, okay, this is easy, this is fun. But every time I asked for an increase in salary, I wouldn't get it because I didn't have a degree.
Mm,
So that triggered something. I was like, oh, okay. So it's okay for me to make you all of this money with my talent. Let's change this up. So I have like this inner hustler. I've always been able to find a job. I've always been able to get a job. So I said, okay, I'm gonna take a year. I remember telling you that my goal was to work in all the major cities in the Bay Area.
mhm.
So I went from Vallejo to San Francisco to Oakland because I wanted to see how the systems work in corporate. And
Mm.
every city is different. So I went and did about 8 months to a year in each city. I learned how to navigate in corporate. I learned how to use this golden mouthpiece. And I was able to learn how to pitch myself. And I said, okay, oh, I got this. I turned 30 2019. I said, oh, I quit. I woke up one day and that was it.
Dang. I love to see it. Shout out to you. And now, how long have you been a full-time entrepreneur?
I'm going into my second year.
Okay.
No, third. 2019 was my first full year last year. Yeah, I'm going into my third.
Oh, snap. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Me too. So yeah, this is year 3. This is year 3.
Crazy,
Dang. That's
crazy. And
crazy.
it's not easy.
It's not. It's a jungle out here, and folks
Facts.
folks don't really understand that, having a business is definitely not for everybody. And I know, especially in today's culture, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody talking about, if you ain't got a business, you lame, or things like that.
Yeah,
But it's like, okay, people, obviously we need employees, right? Like, some
right,
people have zero desire to have a business, and that's fine, right? I think
right,
the misconception is you don't necessarily have to have a business to have another stream of income. And I think that
right,
that's where the misconception lies, because you can have a job and you can have 2 or 3, passive forms of income, but you don't have to have a business. And I think that that is where the misconception lies when, we talk about, oh, you need multiple streams of income. That I never said you need multiple businesses, right? Like,
Right. It's a difference.
there is definitely a difference. Now, somebody who is the resume finesser, I love that. You need to trademark that.
Girl, I know. I gotta get on it.
Um, what is it that you see? Like, what are the common mistakes in resumes that you see?
Oh, okay. So that's super funny. I just talked about that on my LinkedIn Live.
Okay.
The first thing, stop putting your full address on your resume. First of all, it's creepy. I know you don't want anybody to know where you live, especially in this day and age. People are strange.
Right.
Two, if you're looking for positions outside of your city, your state, you need to be able to include at least the state you're looking to relocate to. And if you are in the remote space, let people know you're remote ready.
Okay.
So easy. And that's a simple fix. And then I'm going to tell you one of my big pet peeves is
Mhm.
seeing photos on resumes.
Huh? Do people put photos on their resume?
Sis, people put, and I mean photos. Like I've seen people, and we are posing. I'm like, okay, you are cute. I love it. It's dope. But flip
No.
it. Add your URL to your LinkedIn. If you want people to see how cute you are, link them to your LinkedIn so
Right.
we can at least benefit from your profile. Let me know who we know together, what you've done, but take the headshots off. That is my pet peeve.
Oh, that's funny. Wow. I've actually have never even heard anybody adding a photo to a resume. So that is hilarious. Like, yeah,
It's bad. It's bad.
heard that. Oh my God.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. So those are your biggest pet peeves. Now,
Yeah.
who do you typically help? Like, who is like
Okay.
your clientele? So I mean, we got the high schoolers looking for jobs. We got straight out
Mhm.
of college entry level. We got the execs looking for, higher corporate jobs. Who do you market to?
So I'm right in the middle. My sweet spot is the mid-level to executive professionals who are looking to either level up or level out of their current company. Because what ends up happening is you get so comfortable in one position that you forget that you still are worth more money and you're still worth a new position title.
Mm,
So what I do is I take usually the professional who's about 6 to 10 years in,
okay.
because at that point, that's when we are figuring ourselves out. We're figuring out our values professionally, and then now we learn how to communicate them a little better. And then that's when I come in and I finesse the whole situation.
Okay.
I make sure you know how to communicate your salary needs, and then I make sure you know how to come to the table and let them know what you're going to do.
I love that. Now, when you say leveling out, do you
Mhm.
mean like leveling out to another company or like getting out of the field?
Oh, so when I say level out, if you're in a company that you absolutely love, I definitely encourage you to figure out how you can leverage throughout the pipeline. But if they're not talking the money you need, if they're not talking the professional development that you deserve, then we create an exit strategy. And that's what I mean by leveling out. You don't have to leave the industry, but you will leave that company.
Okay, let them know, sis. Let them know. Okay, so you out here getting people right. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what are the negotiating don'ts that you would
Ooh,
recommend?
yes. So, first and foremost, do not go in there and say, well, I'll take what you're giving me.
Mm,
Or I have people go in and basically pitch way lower just because you don't want to seem like a threat. That's the biggest no that I will ever tell a professional. You go in there with your high ticket offer, always. You
okay,
make them negotiate. Do not go in there and undersell yourself or undervalue your work ethic.
right,
You've gotten here for a reason.
right.
Don't let anybody tell you anything else. And because that company can't meet your salary, doesn't mean there's not four other companies who will. So
Mm.
don't feel stuck.
I think that's really good. And I mean, I was in corporate America for a while, at least 6 years before I was
Hmm.
able to leave. But one thing that I did find is it was very hard for me to leave my job, like very hard. And I mean, actually, not me when I was pursuing like over it, but like when I was
Hmm.
thinking about like trying to find a better job, I was like, it was just so hard for me to like leave. I'm like, oh, I've done so much, I've gotten so
Yep.
far. I'm like, I love the people I work with, but it's like, I know I could be making more money somewhere else. And so I'm like,
Yes.
I don't
Girl,
know.
it's that level of loyalty. It's that level of
Yes.
loyalty. And I think that's it's a strength and a weakness.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I were to drop dead tomorrow, that job or that company will fill
Preach.
my spot. So
Preach.
you have to think about that. You're more important than anybody else. You know the salary you deserve,
Right.
and you know that you can find your high ticket offer somewhere else. And I think it's scary for people.
I think
It's
it is.
scary to think that I'm going to leave this place who
Yeah.
may have given me a lot of opportunity, which is great. Like,
Yeah.
that's what jobs are supposed to do. You're
Right.
supposed to help me develop professionally.
Right.
I'm not just here to work as hard as I can for you. It's a mutually beneficial situation. It should be.
Right.
So when I see people, and I've heard so many stories like that, like, dang, I've done so much, you
Yeah.
know, I know that they could value me more if they had more money. Yeah, that's all cool and fine and dandy. But you have to look out for you. And that's always.
Yeah. I think I think 2020 show people how disposable they are to these companies. I mean, I've been preaching
Yeah.
this for like the past 4 years now. Like, you have to have a plan B. You have to be putting yourself in a
Yeah.
position to be able to not just be disposable at somebody's expense, because what people don't understand is that these companies are just businesses. And when you
Yeah.
are in a financial struggle, the first expense to go is the employee. And so, like, once that shifted, once I really started about, learning about, financial freedom and things like that, that's when my
Hmm.
mindset shifted. And I was like, this company don't care whether I stay, whether I go.
Nope.
Well, they actually do care if I stay because I'm bringing in so much value. But it's like,
Right.
you either need to meet me where I want to be, or somebody else will. So
Yep.
I think it's just that mindset shift, like you said, where people have to realize the position that they're in. You
Yep.
are disposable. I mean, it's just the hard reality. Now, did your business suffer during COVID?
So during COVID, we actually scaled a little bit more than I anticipated, to be very honest.
No.
But I will not lie, like the last quarter, I did start to feel the shift of the pandemic because people were really out of options
Yeah,
and running out of money.
yeah,
So, it's part of the business, right?
right,
You deal with it. And Christmas, people aren't looking for jobs. People are looking to take a break.
right,
So December, I definitely
right.
saw a decrease in engagement. But other than that, I did not feel the impact of the pandemic, which I'm super grateful for because I know that a lot of people felt it.
Yeah.
But I was still able to stay afloat, luckily.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I will say is that you should definitely be able to scale up, because I mean, at the end of the day, 2021, yes, we still may be in a pandemic, but like, there's going to be, people are redefining normal. And so
Yes.
jobs are, trying to figure it out. Like, some have moved remotely, some, sometimes in the office, sometimes not. But what we're doing is now we're trying to find balance and figure out what
Yes.
exactly is life going to look like. And so multiple people should be trying to get a job right now, like
This
multiple.
is a perfect time. You hit the nail on the head. Companies are like, okay, we understand how much family means. We understand being flexible.
Yeah,
Because remember, a year or two ago, you couldn't telecommute unless you absolutely had to.
yeah,
Now everybody's trying to figure out how can we help them telecommute? How can we help them engage online?
yeah.
So if
It's
you
just,
ever wanted a
yeah,
role, this is your time to communicate a remote role.
man, that's crazy. Now, where is the best place? Like if somebody wants to say we got our entry level, let's talk to our entry level folks.
Okay.
Say somebody's like, look, I'm trying to, get into the job, the job field, say they're straight out of college. What should they be doing? Should they be on like ZipRecruiter, career, do these sites really work? Or, I don't know. Like, I ain't looked for a job in so long. Like, I'll tell you this though. Here's a true 100% story. So when I moved I straight out of college, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was like, look, I'm going to find a job out here, such and such. I applied to over 200 jobs. And the jobs that I got interviews for, they were like damn near scams. Like, it was just like, them salesy jobs. They want you selling pillows at Kroger. I'm like, look, I got 2 degrees. Humbly, I'm not going to be doing that. So I ended up, keeping my job from Cali. So it was, a blessing. But the reason why I know it was that number is because when I actually quit the workforce, I actually went in and deleted like all of the messages. And so like, do these, third-party sites even work? Like, let us know.
Okay, I'm going to drop the T for you because this is huge.
Yeah.
And this is for any level, but especially entry level, you want to get on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is going to be your lifeline. And I tell you this because it gives you an endless reach. You can literally reach anybody in the industry that you're looking for, but you have to be strategic. You can't just get on there and hope for the best, which I do see that a lot. You want to make sure that you have an all-star profile.
Okay.
So you hit all the targets. Please have a nice headshot. I'm not saying it has to be professional, but at least get yourself from the waist up and in front of a tree or some type of scenery. You got to have a tagline. Let people know who you are. This is your opportunity to show your personality.
Right.
And then have a background image. If it's the ocean, if it is like some type of view, that's
they have
fine.
Background images on LinkedIn.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna drop all the gems real quick.
And I hope y'all taking notes.
What ends up happening is you want to make your profile attractive because everybody uses their phone. I'm using my hand as my phone because my phone is up here, but we look at profiles through the phone. So the first 3 things I see are your headshot, your background, and your tagline. And if you don't catch my attention, I'm going to keep scrolling.
Got it.
Make yourself stand out. And then after that, then people on LinkedIn love to talk. I love to talk. I love when people ask me questions. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Start scheduling coffee chats. You want to work for Google? Find the recruiter for Google, invite them to a coffee chat, a Zoom or something like that, and pick their brain. You get 15 minutes usually. You might have a nice one who'll give you 20. Use that 15 minutes to your advantage. Learn what the best way to apply will be. Ask if it's okay if you send them your resume. Be forward. This is not the time to just take anything or be coy. This is your time to go out there and snatch your next best position. And entry level, mid-level, executive, it's all the same when it comes to using a platform that's going to actually be beneficial. Now, I will tell you, I am not an Indeed kind of girl. I don't like sites like that. But I will say, if you can find your ideal position, let's say you want to do nonprofit, you would go on idealist.org. Those are actually positions that are filtered through. With Indeed, they don't filter their positions out as effectively as they should. I'll say it that way. Because you can see positions that have been up there for 30, 60 days. Why would I apply to a job that's been up there for 30 to 60 days?
Right.
So with LinkedIn, they give you all the analytics. They'll tell you how many people have applied. If you get the premium, they'll tell you how many people have applied. They'll tell you what the key skills are that they're looking for that you're missing from your profile. They're giving you the recipe for success as long as you pay attention.
Dang. See, even when I was looking for I needed you, like 5 years ago. Like, like I said, I had just kept my job, like that I had worked in college. And so, I mean, these are some gems right here. I had none of this. So I had a resume, I had uploaded, it's funny, I had just came across, I had created this little website on Wix that
Oh, okay.
did all like my little accomplishments, that I was like a cheer coach, and I did like a business fraternity, and I was like, wow, look at that. I didn't even know this thing was still active. I was like, now I'm about to switch it up and probably turn it into my own business site. But I was like, wow. So yeah, like that's crazy. That is crazy. The background one, I'm like, dang, I didn't even know you could have a background.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know. And I don't think that people put it out there enough how beneficial LinkedIn is,
Yeah,
especially if you're looking for a job. And it's not just for job seekers, it's for entrepreneurs to make partnerships,
right,
it's for business owners to get their visibility increased. So
right.
there's benefits all the way around. And it's, man, there are so many opportunities out there.
Yeah, I'm over here sleep. I mean, you know what's crazy is because even what I do, like you said, I'm always, connecting with different people. And so people keep telling me like you need to tap into to LinkedIn. I'm like, I don't even know how to connect with, as from an entrepreneur standpoint. I don't even know how to connect
Hmm.
or with people like on LinkedIn. Like I do.
Girl, the same way you do with Clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I use Facebook like LinkedIn, because your coffee
Mm.
chats, like I be having coffee chats with everybody. Um,
Hmm.
so maybe I'm gonna have to tap into LinkedIn a little bit.
Switch it over. I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna challenge you this
Let
year,
me see
this
some.
month.
Like, I'm gonna have to.
Transition.
Okay, now, oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. Do you recommend somebody getting premium, or is the free version suffice?
So this is what I'm gonna recommend. They give you 1 month of premium for free.
Uh-huh.
Use that 1 month and see if you actually see a difference in your engagement and your connections. But that means you actually have to use it, right?
Right.
Even if it's free, you have to use it. You got to reach out to
Right.
people. They still let you do a majority of the searching on the free option. The only thing I like about the premium is that I can see the analytics. I can see people who have looked at my page. I can see who has been applying for different positions. Well, not them physically, but like the numbers, because
Uh-huh.
that makes a difference if I was going to apply as a job seeker.
Right,
If
right,
1,000 people have applied for one position, I probably won't apply.
right.
If I wanted to, I'll do the outreach, connect with the hiring manager or the recruiter. But I say give that 1 month a spin and actually really optimize it.
Mm,
Use it. Reach out to people, check out to see, like, as we're entrepreneurs, I go and check out like what different companies are hiring for, and then I pitch my services. So if
okay.
you're looking for a career coach, I'm like, yo, why not hire out as a contractor? Less work for you, benefit for me.
Right.
So
Look at you. Okay. Look, put me on
yeah,
with some. I'm gonna have to tap into LinkedIn. Let me
you are.
weekend. Let me see what we're
Try the free month and see if you like it. That's for anybody. Try the free month, but if you decide not to do premium, you can still do damage with the free profile.
Okay. Cool. I love that. I love that. Now, cool. Now, real quick, I just wanted to tap
Yeah.
into like, what was your reasoning for not finishing school?
So I tried. I will not lie, girl. I tried. I really tried, but it just, work was always more important to me. So
Uh-huh.
at one point, I was going from my job in San Francisco to my school in Oakland every Tuesday and Thursday, and then sitting there for 3 hours every night, like, this is really what this is about. Okay. Like I said, I take my hat off to people who finish school because that is a big deal.
Yeah.
It is an amazing advantage, but I couldn't see myself like missing work to go to school. So
Mm,
that triggered something for me. I was like,
got
okay,
it.
if you're not going to go to school, you better figure out what you're going to do with this work stuff,
Yeah.
especially if they're not willing to pay you what you're worth.
Right.
So school, I tried. I really tried school.
So
It just was not for me at the time.
you know, and I think that more people are, you know, starting to tap into the things that are meant for them. And, you know,
Yes.
just like entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, school isn't for
Mm-mm.
everybody either. So if you had to just give somebody a piece of like encouragement, what would you say to them if they're like thinking like, man, I feel her, like, I don't know if school's for me? What would you say to somebody?
You better tap into your inner hustler, because if you're not going to go to school, you have to be good at something.
Mm,
Figure out what your passion is,
yeah.
connect your hustle, and make it a profitable business for yourself if
Mm,
you're not going to go to school, because that's what you get. You get an advantage with a degree.
right.
You when you don't go to school, you have to be prepared for every obstacle that comes in your path.
Yeah.
So you have to have thick skin. I think you and I talked about that, having thick skin as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, as a business owner, and then being solutions oriented. Because
Mm.
I may come against 4 or 5 people for the same contract who have degrees and all of this. I have to be able and ready to sell myself at any point.
Mm.
So
That is,
tap into your inner hustler for sure.
yeah. The solutions orientated one, I feel like that is such an amazing quality to have.
Yes.
Regardless whether you're an employee or gonna tap into entrepreneurship. Really, if you're gonna tap into entrepreneurship, because all you're doing is solving problems all day long, like
Yes.
all day long. And so I think that so many people are not solution orientated though, because even when I talk to people, it's like they just lack resourcefulness. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have the money to do this. Okay, cool, how can we find it? Like,
Right.
jot me down 10 ways that you can make $20. Like, people just don't want to put in the extra work to, like, people just want things done for them. And so I think resourcefulness is probably like top 3 best skill sets you
Yeah.
could have. Like,
You have to.
yeah.
You have to. And like you said, you have to figure out ways to make $20. You can find $20 somewhere. It's just
Right.
a matter of how and
Right.
where.
Exactly.
And if that's not your skill, stay in school, get that degree so you have that credibility off top.
That's good, and I think that's excellent, excellent advice, because I'm telling you, the resourcefulness, like, and I don't know if it's attached to. I think I think this just came to me. I think that might be the one thing that separates those who can even tap into entrepreneurship versus those who really can't. And I think that might be the underlining factor, because even when I meet people who have a full-time job and they have like that mindset of entrepreneurship, and they're able to, you know, have a successful business and do both, like, I feel like that's the skill set that makes it happen, like makes it so.
Right. I think you're right, because you have to dig deep to
Yeah.
be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That's not just something that you just roll over and say, "Oh, today I'll be an entrepreneur." That's something that resonates within you.
Right. That's like the hard work right there. What do you think is the hardest thing about entrepreneurship?
Ooh. Um, the hardest part about entrepreneurship for me is definitely being too hard on yourself, because you know what you're capable of achieving.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't achieve it in a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
you start to reflect like, oh, dang, maybe this isn't for me. So self doubt is probably the hardest thing about entrepreneurship that I've seen in my last 3 years.
I love that. One thing I will say is, like, we just got to on the other side of that, we got to give ourselves grace though. Like, I
Yes.
know a lot of the times us type A individuals were like, oh my God, I could have went harder. I could have done more. I'm
Yes.
just like, the anxiety will be through the roof if you do not learn how to just give yourself some grace. Like, that
And
is,
we deserve it. We deserve
yeah,
grace.
that is the one thing that I've probably learned within the last year is like, okay, cool. Like, it's not my timing anyway. So let me just give
Right.
myself grace, and carry on. I'll try again tomorrow. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. That's the mind frame. So it's definitely a part of it. And
Yeah.
you encounter it, you figure it out. You have to be solutions oriented, as you said, and you move forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this is just a super random question. So, I know
Okay.
we haven't like connected on Facebook, but so one thing about me is I ask all these random questions, like, that really get people like to think.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes they're super tough, you know, controversial, but they
Mm.
always get somebody thinking. And so I remember this one question that had people just, they were kind of in a frenzy. The question was, do you think your job attracts your spouse? What would
Ooh.
your opinion be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
People was in an uproar, and I have my feelings on it, and I'll share after you share yours.
Okay.
Let me know what you think.
Ooh. Okay, you got me, but I'm gonna be completely transparent, and I'm gonna say yes. I think your job attracts your spouse, and
I
I
agree.
learned that as I've yeah. I don't think and it yeah, because then why do you ask people, well, what do you do? You know, when you go on a date,
Exactly.
somebody will ask you, like, what do you do? What
Exactly.
profession are you in?
Yes,
That's
girl.
status.
Yes. Yes.
It's status.
And I don't know if you've ever seen this meme, but I remember seeing this meme like on Twitter and was like, people ask you what you do for a living so they can gauge how much respect to give you.
Oh
And
yeah,
when I
most
see that,
definitely.
I was like, dang, that's kind of deep. Like, wow. Because like if you're
That's
gonna treat
real.
somebody different, whether they're a doctor versus somebody who is, oh, I don't know, I work at McDonald's, just as an example. Like you're gonna
You're
respect
right.
their time, you're gonna respect their opinion. Like there's so many things you're going to respect so much more of just with them
Hmm.
having that job. And I'm
It's
like,
credibility attached to title.
yeah,
It's status. It is
yeah,
definitely status. Like
it
you kind of shocked
definitely
me asking me, but I'm like,
is.
no, it does. It really
Yeah,
does.
I
Because
100% agree.
oh,
And people was
that
on
is
my
so
neck.
crazy.
People was on my neck, like, you know, it was give and take. But you know, people was like, at the end of the day, people don't like to face the truth. And the truth of the matter is this.
Yes.
It absolutely does. Because like you said, as even as a woman, you know, we asking, you know, somebody who's pursuing us, like, oh, well, what do you do for work? You know, you're gonna be instantly turned off. Like, tell the truth. And he's like, oh, you know, I work at McDonald's. Like, not everybody, but I'm speaking for the majority. Like most people are going to have a little bit of judgment. And of course you can,
Right.
you know, get to know the person, but immediately if you know nothing about them, your immediate response is going to be a slight bit of judgment and no, I
Yes.
don't want to talk to him.
Yeah,
But
that's the reality.
people don't want to face the truth. I'm telling you.
That is the reality.
I'm gonna have to find that post because I'm telling you, people was like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm like,
That's a lie. That's a
you're
lie.
lying.
That is a lie.
You are
Because
lying.
when you have a successful spouse, you
Yeah.
brag about your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my spouse, my significant other does this, and that.
Ooh,
And
I didn't even
then
think about that point. Dang, I was just coming from the point where it's like when you initially meet somebody,
oh
that's
yeah,
you're obviously going to ask them what they do or what type of work they're in. If it
right,
didn't matter, you wouldn't have asked the question.
at all.
So now, but then you took it even deeper because then it's like now you got a sense of embarrassment and
Yep.
lack of confidence in your spouse if they don't have a job title that you think is credible enough. Dang,
Right.
that was just way deeper. Dang, I didn't even think about that.
Well, think about what our idea of a power couple is.
Right.
So then if I'm doing this and he's doing that, oh, so now we're a power couple. Look at our titles. Look what we've been able to
Ooh,
accomplish. Yeah,
wow.
no.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
people ain't thinking that, you know, the McDonald's worker and, you know, the enterprise worker is a power couple. It's like doctor, lawyer, entrepreneur, six-figure salary, seven-figure salary. Like that's just what we've been programmed though. And so people can
Right.
say all that they want, right? But at the end of the day, even if you vibe with somebody, as soon as you find out what they do for work, you're gonna have a slight sense of pain if when you find out that they work at McDonald's. Like, oh,
And let me say, there is honor in all jobs. There is
absolutely.
honor in all jobs. I
100%
will
agree.
never discredit that. But yeah,
I like to get
there's
down to
honor
the
in all
truth.
jobs.
See, like I said, I like to ask the questions that nobody really wants to talk about because, of course, I respect every employee, right? That we need everybody.
First of all, I hope that's a Clubhouse topic. I hope you put that on Clubhouse because that's a topic you need to talk about.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But I'm telling you, they was on my head. They was like, no. And I respond to everybody. So I'm like, look,
Of course.
I like to you just got to think of it about with a different perspective. Like, I mean, maybe
Right.
a few years ago, I would have thought the same thing. But as you start learning and as you start really tapping in with
Growing.
money,
Yeah.
like, no, you know darn well it matters. Like, it
It
matters.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
And I
And
feel
you
like,
don't want to seem shallow or
yeah,
whatever, but it's not being shallow. It's being realistic. If you're
absolutely.
bringing in 6 figures and they're bringing in 4 or 5,
Yeah.
how are we going to work?
Exactly. Exactly. And one thing I will say is, like, people just got to realize that relationships are like, it's a business. Like, it's a business.
Oh,
And at the end of the day, love ain't paying the bills. I mean, you can love somebody, but I'm gonna have to love you from afar because we cannot do business
yes.
together. Like, you can't manage your money. Like, as I've gotten older and as I've experienced my relationships, I'm like, dang, there is so many more important factors that I feel like people don't even tap into that they need to. Like,
You're absolutely right.
I was talking to a young lady. Well, she's not young. She's actually a lot older than me. But she would put me up on game. And I met her on Clubhouse. And she was saying, like, back in the day, people used to ask for documents. Like, let me see your credit score. Let me see how much debt you got. Let me see this. Let me see that. Because at the end of the day, two becomes one. So it's like, what am I going to be taking on? And it's like,
Right.
I said, I don't even think people do that anymore. I'm like, I ain't heard of nobody my age asking for all of these documents from anybody. And she
Girl, now we just try and ask if you have anybody attached to you and are you
that's
married?
all.
That's
And
the only questions we ask.
that's the only question. How many baby mamas you got? How many kids you got?
Yep.
Do you live with your baby mama? Like, these are the questions that we're asking. Not like,
Is there a woman who thinks that she is your girlfriend? Like, what?
it's like, no, when she was telling me that, I was like, wow, what has happened to this younger generation, myself included? Because I'm like, I don't ask those questions up front. And she was telling me, she was like,
Mm-mm.
anybody who's like pursuing a relationship, you shouldn't even feel any type of way if you do get asked that, because it's like, it's a business. It's a business
It
deal.
is.
Like, it's a business deal. And then I'm like, yo, that's so true, because as soon as you marry somebody, you now have acquired their debt. Now they got that now they have the right to half of the things you own. Like, yeah. Then she also put me up on game as like an entrepreneur. She was saying, like, if you're dating somebody and you make very good money, as a business owner by yourself, like, she was just saying, like, you don't ever need to tell a man like how much money you make. Like, she was like, you can show them your finger, but never your whole hand. And I was like, somebody needed to hear that. So I'm going to pass that along, because
Word.
God, like, I mean, it just be blowing my mind, some of the things that be going on. And I mean, there ain't even no ring on no finger. And I mean, they just know they got this hand and this hand too. So I'm like, yeah. I said, okay.
That's deep. That's deep. That is
Yeah,
deep.
I was just like, okay, she definitely had put me up on some game. I had just talked to her yesterday. I was like, okay, like, but as you
But
learn,
it's real.
yeah, no, it's definitely real. And what people don't understand is they don't know what they don't know. And it's like, that's why you
Right.
have to continuously educate yourself, talk to people of value. So, you can learn these things and get educated, but people just live in this little bubble. Like, it's like everything that they know is valid. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, no, like, we don't know what we don't know until you get
And
educated
there's
and start learning more things. And then you like, dang, I didn't even know that. But you got to be open-minded.
yeah,
And most people are not.
you do. You have to be
Yeah.
open-minded. And like you said, like we've all been guilty of dating somebody that either didn't make as much money as us, or
Yeah.
because love is bigger, right?
Right.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Relationships are business
Yeah.
oriented.
That is a
I
fact.
have to be able to make you better. You have to be able to
That is
make
a
me better.
fact.
Whether we grow financially is awesome. We should.
Right.
But yeah, the older
But
I've
now
gotten,
you
I'm
say
learning
that,
to identify.
that just triggered another thought, because now I'm just like, okay, now when you even think about like the entrepreneur thing, It's like, it goes way
Mm-hmm.
deeper. It's like, how can you even find yourself calling yourself an entrepreneur when you're literally stuck in these bad relationships that are business transactions? Like, it just affects everything. Like, if you can't make a good decision
Yep.
in your relationship, how can I expect you to be a good decision maker when it comes to entrepreneurship? I just thought
That's
about,
very true.
oh,
That's
that was,
deep.
wow.
That is
Yeah, that
deep.
just came to my mind right there. Because I'm like, man, because there be some people, I'll be like, they'd be like, oh, entrepreneur this, entrepreneur that. And I'm just like, then when you see what they're dealing with in their relationships, I could see why they aren't having the success that they desire. There's
Right.
a disconnect there that they got to figure
Yep.
out.
Dang.
There's a
That's
disconnect.
real.
Yeah.
That is real.
That's definitely going to be a clubhouse. That's going to be
It has to be.
let me see.
You
Now I got to
you
start.
want to stir the pot? You want to stir the pot? You put that on the Clubhouse.
I love stirring the pot. I love stirring the pot because I come back with full responses. Like, people just have one
Yeah.
way of thinking, and that doesn't make it so. You gotta just view different perspectives. Like, and most people haven't
Absolutely.
seen other perspectives, and so I mean, I obviously haven't seen all of them, but I do have a different perspective since I've grown so much and have learned so much. So yeah, I'm gonna start a pot on that one. Now I gotta
Yes.
put it on the date. Matter of fact, I'm gonna probably do it.
Please do.
I'm
Stir the pot. I'll be looking for it.
probably do it by Valentine's Day. Like,
Ooh.
relationships. People gonna be mad at that one. Yeah, I'm definitely
People gonna be breaking up behind that topic. People will break up behind that topic. Like,
definitely.
dang, you're not adding value to my life.
Oh my God, I gotta get a good panel. Okay, so you gotta be a moderator with me.
Yeah.
You gotta be on my panel.
I
So
will definitely do that.
yeah. Yes, I'm definitely about to. Okay, cool. Noted, writing it down. That's a good one.
Crazy.
Now, I know when we had talked the other day, you were saying that you were doing a challenge. What challenge do you have going on right now? Like a snag a
So
job?
in live, I have a job snatching challenge.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. That's what it was.
It's a job snatching challenge. Play to win. So what I do is I brought together career strategists, recruiters, and different professionals in various industries to come and drop gems for job seekers. Just like you asked me some really good questions. That's what I do with them. That way we can get people positioned for the right role this year. I'm tired of people not going after what they deserve.
Yep.
So I said, okay, let's go ahead and challenge it. So what I do, I'm challenging people to track their job search. If you apply to 10 positions this week, shoot it to me. By the end of the month, I'll pick 5 people to give free career strategies to. So we'll do some sessions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can people still participate in that?
Yes, people can still participate. So
Okay.
if you're game to come in and talk, I would love for you to get on a session and
Sure.
just drop being an entrepreneur and having businesses that contribute to your success would be super significant. Because like you said, not everybody is game to be an employee. And
Yeah.
there may be some people who are on the edge of, dang, do I jump ship? What do I do? How do I feel? So that would be most definitely welcome.
One gem that was dropped to me so I just actually had a clubhouse. I don't know what session we had connected on, but I just had a room where the topic was, full-time employee, part-time entrepreneur, because in this day and age, so many people, like, I think it's the younger generation, it's like they're embarrassed to still be working and pursuing entrepreneurship. And
That's
it's
so
like,
crazy.
it is. But one lady had came to the stage and she was like, if you can't run somebody else's business, if you can't provide value to somebody else's business, how do you expect to run your own? And I was like, that is very true. I'm like, if you can't, run them up, some figures, how are you going to run up your own business? Like, your job is your first investor, right? Whether it's money or knowledge. And so people just need to realize that, like, it's definitely okay to still be working. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, like, at all. But yeah, that was a gem she had dropped.
But I think social media shames people.
Oh, it is. My mentor, Malcolm, he calls it cap culture. where, you know, you have all of
Mm.
these people just highlighting, like, what people don't understand is, like, people can post whatever they want, like whatever they want, and then it's like they make their own assumption, right? They make their own
Mm-hmm.
I had posted a pic on Instagram. I'm standing next to a friend's BMW. I get congratulations, like I just got the car. I'm like, I still got my Honda, like, but
Right.
like, you know, like everybody, you know,
Yep.
like, but it's like, okay, now I'm posting a car and I'm posting a pic with this car, with that car. People can assume whatever they want. And so then with those
Mm-hmm.
assumptions, then they start feeling bad about themselves or thinking that they should be at a certain level and they're not. And it's like, you need to stay off Instagram. Like, for one,
Yes.
if you ain't monetizing your social media, stop being on it. Like, I'm on social media because I have monetized social media. But it's like, if you're not making money on social media, like, get out and just live your life, because I'm telling you that comparison culture
Yep.
is deadly. Like, it's
You're
nothing.
absolutely right.
It is nothing nice at all. So how can somebody be a part of your challenge? I mean, all your information is going to be at the end of this. Do they just reach out to
Okay.
you, or how does that
All
go?
they have to do is reach out and let me know that they're game.
Okay.
That's it. And then I'll let them know what my, I don't like to call them rules are, but what my challenge guidelines are.
Uh-huh.
And then that way, by the end of this month, if you haven't gotten interviews, we definitely have to talk. As the gems that people are dropping, if you implement them by the end of next week, you should be generating leads.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, as we wrap up, what was like the biggest challenge you found when you were applying for jobs? Like, what was it? What did you said you were good at getting jobs, or I guess what is the biggest challenge that your clients you see, like, when it comes to just finding jobs in general?
People get caught in looking at the job description requirements.
Uh-huh.
So they get stuck right there. So if I don't perfectly align, I'm not going to apply. Baloney. Apply anyway.
Yeah.
Because the idea is to get the interview. In the interview, then I can sell myself to you.
Mm,
But people really sell themselves short off of a job description.
yeah.
First of all, somebody took 10 minutes to put that job description together. Do not let it detour you from applying.
Yeah.
Now, if you're applying to be a doctor and you know dang well you have no business being a doctor, that's different.
Right.
But if you know that their requirements are something that you can learn from YouTube, from taking a certification, pitch.
Right.
Either way it goes, you always want to apply. That's the biggest obstacle that I see, that people psych themselves out.
That's so good. And one thing I will say is, like, people do need to work on that pitch. We're gonna be doing I'm getting with one of my business besties. She is like amazing at pitching. Like 30 seconds done, boom. And so if you need help, well, I mean, you probably can pitch obviously to both. But if you need to do like a moderator or like do a mutual clubhouse, I'm definitely gonna get you connected with her. Her name is Jalen Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely amazing with the whole pitch thing. But I think it just comes, like, from lack of confidence. People just don't know what to say about themselves. And so one thing I will say is, do you come across people who, like, do not want to invest in your service, or feel like your service is almost unnecessary?
Yes, absolutely. I actually had a phone call yesterday, and I think we weren't arguing, but we were definitely having a heated debate regarding, whether my price point was realistic. And as I tell people, it's an investment in yourself.
Right,
most
absolutely.
definitely. And if you can do it on your own, my heart is with you. I want you to do it, and I want you to do it well.
Yeah.
When you invest in my services, you're going to bypass all of the heartache that I've already gone through.
Right.
And that other job seekers have experienced. So if you want to experience that on your own, I'm okay with that.
Right.
It's a learning experience.
Right.
But I definitely come across people who don't see the value in my expertise, which is okay.
Right.
But like I said, this is 13 years, if not longer. You know, you start working at 15. I learned a lot from 15 to in in my 30s. And it's definitely been something that shaped my coaching. And
Yeah.
I want to make sure that job seekers understand that when you hire a career professional, it's not just to find a job. It's to make sure that you are staying on top of your pitch. You're staying on top of the salary that you deserve. So it's much more than just finding a job when you invest in somebody like myself.
I love
So
that.
yeah, girl, all the time.
I'm so glad you touched on that. One, I'm super big with investing into yourself. And what people don't understand is you're paying for convenience. Like, you're paying for somebody's expertise. Like I have just moved into this realm where if I can pay for it, I'm gonna pay for it because I don't have the time. Like, I mean, I
Right.
don't have the time. And one, I didn't even know people like you were around, like when I was in the job
Mm-hmm.
field. And I'm like, hours on Indeed, on
Yes.
Career, just okay, one click apply, one click apply. And I'm just like, this isn't helpful. This is not helpful. I'm not even getting the jobs that I know that I can, that I'm qualified for. I got freaking Home
Right.
Depot reaching out to me every day. Walmart. I'm like, where are the other jobs? Where are the other jobs? Like, the ones that I'm not selling pillows at. Like, where are they? So I think it's
Yeah.
like super beneficial to have somebody like you in their corner. Now, one piece I did want to touch on, do you help with the confidence building piece, or are you connected with like
Yes.
confidence builder coaches? Because I'm telling you, I think that's just like the biggest issue is people just lack the confidence in themselves.
It is. And like when I do interview coaching, that's the biggest concept, because
Yeah.
if you don't believe in your value, if you don't believe in your strengths,
Yeah.
then you can't communicate them. You
Mm,
can't break them down to get somebody else to buy into you. And confidence is the biggest. You're absolutely right.
yeah.
If you don't go into that interview and think that, okay, well, I'm getting ready to interview you just like you're getting ready to interview me. This is something that
Absolutely.
I'm trying to figure out if it's the right space for me. But you
Yeah.
have people who go in and they just kind of blindly answer the questions and then run out. No, you better have some questions set up,
Yeah.
and you better figure out if they're the right company for you. Confidence goes behind all of it.
I feel like jobs probably have a little bit more respect for you, or a little bit like, oh, okay, she coming over here like she must know her worth. She knows her value when, entry level position, but I'm over here like, hold up, you still a job. Like, I want to see if I want
Right,
to work here. Like, so
right.
I'm really glad you touched on that, because I think especially lately where, people don't have so many jobs, people are scrambling for
Yeah,
employment, and so they go in and they blindly just accept these jobs knowing dang well it's a position that they don't want, have no desire to work, sounds stressful, like they hate talking on the phone, but they apply in the call centers, like, don't make no sense. Like, like,
don't
you gotta be aligned,
exactly be aligned. And like I tell job snatchers, don't just go for any job. I understand that we need money.
Absolutely.
That's point blank period. But still give yourself a shot at a role that you actually can learn from.
Yeah.
It may not be the exact role that you want, but
Yeah.
go into something that you can learn from and that you can take away some skill sets.
Yeah.
Don't just go in there for the paycheck that you know
Right.
they're undercutting you anyway.
Sis, I love that. And like I said, I mean, you were in corporate America for 13 years and then pursued, entrepreneurship. You got to utilize each of these jobs as putting tools in your tool belt. And then it's like,
Right.
maybe you've learned so much and then you want to pursue entrepreneurship, but it's like, yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're going in like, okay, well, I want to learn something besides just,
Yeah.
getting this paycheck bi-weekly, or monthly, or
Right.
whatever the case may be. And so I think that is a super good point. You have definitely
Yeah.
dropped a lot of gems,
Yes.
girl. Now, as we
I'm
wrap,
glad.
do you have any last words for our listeners?
I will definitely tell you guys to go after what you want, advocate your value, and pitch until you can't pitch anymore.
Come on now. Come on now. I
That's
love
it, and that's
it.
all.
I love it. Well, I just want to thank you for being on my
Thank you.
episode with me. This is going to be a good one. I know a ton of people are going to see value with this one. Save it to the
Hope so.
files, whatever the case may be. But yeah, like I said, I know we will definitely be connecting, especially on that clubhouse
Yes.
room.
Yes.
So yeah, like I said, all of your information will be at the end. And again,
Okay.
Jessica, I appreciate you for being on here with me. I'll talk to you soon.
Of course. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.